I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop.
Oh, yeah!
Why not take my Damies Blu-ray King back for an all-new video. And today, I'm here to talk about everything that I watched this Halloween season. I'm in my costume. Definitely. Do you know what my costume is? It looks like a skeleton. But it's not. Alright, so I'm going to just give you a rundown of everything I watched and what I thought about it. First, we got The Bride of Frankenstein. Now, this is definitely a really good movie. It's solid all the way through. My only gripe with The Bride of Frankenstein is its legacy. Every time you see Frankenstein, you see his bride, then you watch the movie, she's only in for fucking 5 minutes. That's my only gripe. Then we got The Babadook here. Now, the first time I watched The Babadook, I got a little spooked. And then I watched it the second time and I was like, yeah, it was kind of corny. So it didn't really hold up the second time around. Then we got the Amityville Horror here. This is the 2005 remake with Ryan Reynolds. I always enjoyed this movie. When I seen it when it came out in theaters. And at the time, my brother still lived at home. And he was staying the night at my apartment. And he asked me if he could poop with the door open because he was scared that he was gonna die. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is one of the horror classics. I always enjoyed this one. You know, it's black and white. It's real old, but it's not really dated. I think it still works for today. We got The Conjuring here. Always creepy. I've never not enjoyed this movie. Same thing goes for the sequel, The Conjuring 2. Then we have The Collection and The Collector. I watched both of these. They remind me of the Saw movies a little bit, but still definitely enjoyable. I went ahead and I rewatched all the Chuckies. Now, Seed of Chucky is really bad. I mean, I used to like it, but now that, you know, I'm an adult, a little more wiser in my years, it's like, this movie's kind of lame. The new one, I couldn't really get behind the whole multiple Chuckies aspect. It was a little much. It's like, how are you going to carry that on with the future films? But definitely the originals I always enjoy. Then we got Carrie. This is the original. I prefer this Carrie to the new one, and I like the girl that's in the new one. What's her name? Hit Girl? Something like that. You just can't top this movie. Got Candyman. I like Candyman. Candyman is a good, creepy movie. A couple years ago I watched this. I mean, I seen it when it first came out, but I didn't watch it again for many years. And when I watched this, it creeped the fuck out of me. I slept with the TV on probably for like a good 3 months after watching that. You got The Devil's Rejects by Rob Zombie. Can you ever go wrong with The Devil's Rejects? I mean, it's a little out there. It's not for everybody, but I really enjoy The Devil's Rejects. I love the characters. I love the dirty grittiness of it. I just love it. Everything just feels so perfect. You got Devil. A lot of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, the twist kind of like never really holds up for me. But this one, I still highly enjoy this movie. Then you got The Fly. I don't watch this movie very often because it fucking grosses me out. It's disgusting. I saw someone dress up as a fly for Halloween this year at a party. And I was just like, why? Have you seen the movie The Fly? If you watch the movie The Fly, you're not going to want to dress up as a goddamn fly. Then we have the classic Frankenstein. If you watch Bride of Frankenstein, you got to watch Frankenstein, right? I'm still surprised at how good these movies still are. Like, almost 100 years. Is it almost 100 years? 80-some years later? God damn. Then we have From Hell It Came. Okay? It's a plot about a killer tree. Get any better than that? Then I watched Halloween the original, which I think is good. I think is very good. And I watched Halloween 2, Rob Zombies. This is one of my favorite Halloween movies. I know a lot of people hate it. I love Halloween 2. It just feels so evil. Like, everything about it is just evil. We got Human Centipede. Now, I should just watched part 3 because I wanted to go ahead and watch the trilogy. It's hard to do. Human Centipede, when I watched it, it was probably the single most disgusting movie I ever watched. And it remained that way for about 20 minutes. And only because I watched The Human Centipede Part 2 directly afterwards. which is even more disgusting. You're up to watch some weird shit? This is some weird shit. Hellraiser, the trilogy. I only watched the first one. I don't think I've ever made it all the way through all the Hellraiser movies, but I do enjoy the first couple of movies. I watched Let Me In. This is another one that I always enjoy to watch. There's something about that story of a little girl vampire. She's going around eating people in the night, and she's got her boyfriend with her, who people think is her dad because he's been in love with her for... You know, that's like some crazy shit. Like, if there was a little girl vampire, and she had her little boyfriend, what would happen when the guy got older? I mean, he eventually does become like her dad, right? Weird to think about. Jeepers Creepers, Part 1 and Part 2. I also watched Jeepers Creepers 3. Now, the first two, those are my fucking shit. They scare the hell out of me. Especially the first one when it first came out. Once they showed that it was a monster, I started like looking at it way like, why am I watching this? Part 3 fucking sucked. Then we got It Follows. I think when did it come out? Like last year or the year before. This movie definitely surprised me. I've probably watched it about 7 or 8 times since it came out. Then we got It. Now I haven't watched It since I was a kid. So I went ahead, bought it again because the previews for the new movie started looking good. I swore I would never buy this or watch it again. I watched it. It actually wasn't that bad. It really wasn't scary, but it wasn't as bad. Then I watched the new one, and it was scary how bad it was. I walked out. Yeah. Walked out. I killed the Insidious trilogy. I like all these. The third one is forgettable. I like it, but I always forget what it's about. When I always go put it on, I'm like, what is the third one even about? Always. It's good, but I always fucking forget. Then we got The Others. I watch this movie. Every time at the end when you find out they're the ghost, I sit there and I wonder, are there ghosts lurking around my house? Are there supernatural beings that I cannot see? I've seen a couple of ghosts before. I've always wondered, where do they go? What do they do all day? Where are they at when they're not fucking with me? Huh? You got Orphan. This movie is funny. I just want to beat the fuck out of her. God damn. Oculus. Killer Mirror. So on this list we got a killer tree, a killer mirror, killer book, all kinds of weird killer shit. The Nightmare on Elm Street. I only watched Part 1 because that is my favorite one. Part 1, Part 3. Part 3 is actually really good. I haven't watched Part... I'm probably going to put Part 3 on tonight. Always revisit Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy is probably my favorite horror monster of all the classics. We got Pet Sematary. The sister in the fucking room creeps me out. Then the kid at the end, evil kids, really creep me out. The People Under the Stairs, one of my childhood favorites. I recommend this not just at Halloween time, anytime you should watch The People Under the Stairs. So I watched all 3 Purges, and I'm starting to enjoy the first Purge movie a little bit more. A lot of you remember, I did not enjoy it because Lena Headey did not die. I really hated her as Cersei Lannister at the time. I was just not able to enjoy The Purge. But now that I like Cersei a little bit, it's getting there. I also did the same thing. I went ahead and watched all the Psycho movies. I actually just finished Bates Motel, and I was surprised by the end. I thought they were kind of like leave it open to what would happen, even though they pulled Rihanna in there to remake the first movie. Bates Motel just doesn't live up to the original film series. All 4 movies are good. Each one in its own way is really fucking good. Saw and Saw 2. I couldn't bear and go all the way to the end. I just could not do it. It's too much gore. The first one actually isn't that bad, but after that it kind of just goes like gore happy. We got The Shining. It's been a couple years since I've seen this one. I think I really enjoyed it this time more than I've enjoyed it in the past. Then I put on Wishmaster 1 and 2. I still haven't went ahead and revisited Part 3 and Part 4. I haven't watched them since they originally came out. But the first 2 with the original monster are my favorite. I watch those about 3 or 4 times a year. Then we got Unfriended. I think I watched Stuckman's review, and he highly recommended this movie. So I picked it up a while ago, decided to put it on this Halloween season. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, really original. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. This is probably my favorite out of all of them. The perfect blend of horror and a little bit of comedy. Then we got The Strangers. This shit is creepy. People knocking at your door 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and you live in the middle of nowhere. It's like, what? How did you get the wrong house? Why are you here at my house? Sinister, Mr. Boogie. I don't know what it is about Mr. Boogie. I know he's not real, but he creeps me the fuck out. Alright, so that is everything that I watched. If you haven't seen my last video, 4K, The Rant, Part 2, be sure to click the link in the description box. And until the next time I see you, stay true and you stay blue. Oh yeah.
I hope I make it home tonight.
Make it home.
I hope I make it home tonight.
Make it home.
I hope I make it home tonight.